Night drives are supposed to be peaceful. Empty roads, cool air, your favorite music playing. But once the world goes quiet, that's when the darkness starts to speak. These aren't just stories about creepy roads or bad luck. They're real. And they might just change the way you feel about driving alone at night. Back in 2018, I worked the night shift as an Uber driver. It was quiet, decent pay, but you saw some weird stuff. This night was especially strange. Cold, fog rolling in, and my car's radio wouldn't stop cutting out. Static would break through every few minutes, almost like whispers were mixed into the signal. I tried to ignore it. I had just dropped off a passenger and was heading down a long, rural stretch between towns. There were no streetlights, no other cars, just me and the dark. I was maybe 30 minutes from home when I saw something ahead. A person, standing dead center in the middle of the road. At first, I thought maybe it was someone who needed help, but the closer I got, the more wrong it felt. He wasn't moving. He wasn't signaling for help. He was just still. His head was down, his arms hanging limp, like a puppet without strings. I hit the brakes, hard. My tires screeched on the wet pavement, and I leaned on the horn. He didn't move, didn't flinch, just stood there about 20 feet away, face still hidden by the hood of his jacket. Then I noticed something that still makes my skin crawl. He was barefoot, and his feet, they were torn up. Blood smeared across the road around him, glistening in my headlights. I fumbled for my phone, hands trembling. I looked down for no more than 2 seconds, and when I looked back up, he was gone. No footsteps, no sound, no sign of where he could have gone. Just empty road, and a thick silence that pressed on my chest like a weight. I slammed the gas and sped forward. But as I passed the spot where he had been, I glanced in the rearview mirror. He was standing on the shoulder now, his head up, and I swear to God, his mouth was moving. But no sound came out. I didn't sleep that night. I couldn't stop thinking about the silence, the blood, the way his body moved. Or didn't move. It felt like he had been waiting for me, or for someone. I reported it to the police the next morning. They said there had been reports over the years of a barefoot man on that same stretch of road, always at night, always vanishing before anyone could get close. They called it a myth. I call it a warning. It was supposed to be a normal drive. 1 a.m., headed home from my cousin's party. No alcohol, just late. The road was long and surrounded by tall trees, no exits for miles, and no cars around, except one. It came up behind me just after I merged onto the freeway. A red SUV. Bright headlights, but oddly dim interior. Like the windows were tinted darker than legal. It didn't pass me, didn't slow down. It just sat behind me, matching my speed exactly. At first, I thought it was just coincidence, but after 10 minutes, it still hadn't passed. Even when I changed lanes, it stayed right behind, like it was watching me. I slowed down. It slowed down. I sped up. It sped up. Every move I made, it mirrored, like it knew what I was going to do. Then I noticed something that chilled me to my core. Through the windshield, I could almost see the driver, but there was no one there, no face, no hands, just darkness. I blinked, looked again, still empty, but the car was still moving. It was like the SUV was alive. I took the next exit and pulled into a gas station. There were bright lights and cameras. I figured I'd be safe. The SUV followed me to the lot's entrance and just sat there, not moving, not turning off its headlights. I stared at it for what felt like forever. Then, without warning, it backed away and disappeared down the road. Enhanced creepy detail. When I checked the security footage with the clerk, there was no red SUV, not even headlights. The timestamp glitched out. 3 full minutes missing from the recording. This one still haunts me. I was 17, borrowed my mom's car to drive to my girlfriend's house. Around midnight, I started heading home. As I pulled out of her neighborhood, I felt it. A shift in the air. It was like the car suddenly got heavier, colder. I turned off the music, and in that silence, I heard it. Breathing. From the back seat, my stomach dropped. I knew I was alone. I had just locked the doors. I didn't pick up anyone. But that sound, it wasn't mine. I pulled into an empty parking lot under a streetlight, turned slowly, and saw nothing. But the back seat was fogged up, and the seatbelt was fastened. The cushion was warm, like someone had just been sitting there. I reached back to touch it, and something touched me. Just a light brush across my wrist, but it was ice cold. I jumped out of the car and checked every inch. Nothing. For weeks after that, I kept feeling that same pressure behind me when I drove. Always after midnight. Always when I was alone. Once, I looked in the mirror and saw a face in the back seat. Pale, wide-eyed, smiling. But when I turned around, it was gone. All that remained was a handprint on the window. From the night drives used to be peaceful for me. Now, they feel like traps, because the worst things don't wait for daylight. They ride beside you, they follow, they hide in the dark corners of your car, until it's too late to run. So, next time you drive alone at night, don't forget to check your back seat. The night has a way of hiding things, truths, memories, even people. But every now and then it reveals just enough to remind us. Not everything in the dark wants to stay hidden. So, the next time you take a quiet drive under the moonlight, ask yourself, are you really alone? If you made it this far, you're braver than most. But there's more waiting in the shadows. Subscribe to Creepy Shadows, and I'll meet you back here, in the dark.